Now, fans that either sold their tickets or whatever, all of a sudden an emphasis is starting to get thrown onto the tickets where people believe she will be playing. And that's starting to make the ticket prices go up, and up.
Because ticket prices are rising like she's drinking threes on the moon, the Fed may need to step in. Audience, admirers, smashing records, and kidney auctions for courtside seats. What sort of magic is this? Is she a combination of Taylor Swift, LeBron, and Steph? Caitlin Clark's recovery from her injury was the catalyst for all of this mayhem.
Ticket sales are down 70% in many places. The Fever played the Mystics 2 nights ago. The cheapest ticket before her injury was announced was $41, okay? The cheapest one. After her injury was announced and people knew that she wasn't going to be playing, the lowest ticket price dropped to $3. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. The WNBA doesn't quite realize what they have in Caitlin Clark. She is the absolute golden goose, the golden ticket. She is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. They must protect her at all costs.
Caitlin Clark is more than simply a basketball dribbler. She is dribbling egos, media narratives, and financial accounts. Additionally, without even realizing it, the WNBA is being dunked. There are, let's face it, Caitlin Clark's before and after. The cost of the tickets was fixed before she arrived. They're stealing your money and going directly into the luxury tax bracket after her.
Don't hate the player, hate the game she got, because she's really talented, especially for being Palangi, She's like the Stephen Curry of WNBA with the threes and stuff. Like, proven fact is, like, they had a game on June 7th scheduled, it was going to be Angel Reese's team, which plays for Chicago. And then for Caitlin Clark's team, they were supposed to go up there playing Chicago on June 7th. First, the ticket sales were at $76 a ticket. Then after they found out Caitlin Clark's not playing that game, she got injured, sales dropped to $25 a ticket.
What's really going on, though, is the WNBA veterans breakdown energy. It seems like they didn't read the script that reads, larger audience equals more money and equals chill out. The Caitlin Clark influence extends beyond her 30-point performance. I'm afraid it's larger. It is everywhere. The arena is now like oxygen. The numbers rise even when she isn't playing. Merch sales upper. Higher TV ratings. Because the audience is acting like Taylor Swift at an NFL game, security guards are even becoming anxious.
Ticket sales are down 70% in many places. The Fever played the Mystics 2 nights ago. The cheapest ticket before her injury was announced was $41, okay? The cheapest one. After her injury was announced and people knew that she wasn't going to be playing, the lowest ticket price dropped to $3. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. The WNBA doesn't quite realize what they have in Caitlin Clark. She is the absolute golden goose, the golden ticket. She is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. They must protect her at all costs. You can argue all you want if she's the best player in the league, but you absolutely cannot argue if she's the most important, because she is. She is more valuable than all the other players combined, and that is just a fact.
This is the worst part. It appears that several WNBA players would rather defend a fast break without shoes than acknowledge it. One would expect that the league would provide special treatment to someone who is essentially bringing the entire organization into the public eye like an ESPN point guard on a mission. However, other players are behaving as though Caitlin showed up and took their endorsement agreements and lunch money.
He is now suffering a major injury as Caitlin Clark is going to be out for 2 weeks with a quad injury. And the reason we're bringing this up specifically is the Clarkonomics effect to this. Obviously, players miss time all the time, but the Sky and the Fever were supposed to play in Chicago in about a week on June 7th. The opening ticket price was $86 because you have the Angel Reese vs. Caitlin Clark showdown that is now box office. Yeah, those tickets are now down to $25. Down to $25 after the injury announcement. And it's supposed to take place in the Bulls Arena, the United Center, as opposed to the normal Wintrust Arena. That's about a 12,000 seat difference, give or take. So
the strangest thing is that the impact still erupts on her off nights. The arena is still filled, and she is not dressed. People seem to have come to see if she would turn up. Does anyone else receive that? Not the players that make passive-aggressive Instagram tales about showing respect for veterans. Yes, we do respect you, but we also respect the 2.5 million people who watched Caitlyn be triple-teamed at half court. It appears that some players are unable to understand that Clark is not their rival. Their elevator is her. However, some are occupied with attempting to cut the cables rather than taking the ride. At first glance, everyone is welcome in the league. But underneath, there are other remarks about rookies having to earn it, side eyes, and body checks. Yes, January. Apparently, being the sole reason your upcoming game airs on national television for the first time in 12 years is not part of earning it. In overtime, the veterans' jealousy is louder than a buzzer beater. Ironically, diva behaviors aren't even the main focus of Caitlyn's game. She is not requesting preferential treatment. She appears to be using GPS to fuel her shot chart as she launches logo threes out here. Some players, meanwhile, are more concerned with protecting the league than changing the rules.
Support system, that shouldn't change. I think, Caitlyn knows that she has ears and eyes in the locker room, and the support that she has behind, whether it's us or anybody else. I would like to think that she knows it's there, and to really take her time and make sure that she's, well enough to be who she needs to be for us, because I want the 100% Caitlyn, so I'll take it.
The media circus then begins because, naturally, as soon as Clark touches the ball, there are full-blown breakdowns, frothing analysts, and camera angles that could as well be drones. Following the untamed Caitlyn in her native hardwood environment is a combination of National Geographic and ESPN. As the league's social media following grows, casual fans start discussing zone defense on TikTok. The athletes should be celebrating the exposure with champagne, right? Rather, we're hearing ancillary remarks such as, "She hasn't proven herself yet." "She has demonstrated more in 15 minutes than other teams have in 15 seasons, girl." Then there is the phenomenon of non-gaming. People still pretend that Caitlyn Clark is going to sprint through the tunnel even though she doesn't play. Outside the venue, scalpers are swarming like if she were Coachella's main act. However, during the Obama administration, certain teams haven't attracted that level of attention. All of a sudden, though, the absence of one youngster stands out more than the entire starting lineup for the home club. And yet, the opposition persists. Players acting like Clark invented attention with a litany of tweets, cryptic statements, and locker room shade. She is only a novice. All right, but she's also a rookie who's filling more seats than you've filled in your previous 3 postseason runs.
Turns out she's human after all, Dan. She's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks, it appears.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Caitlyn Clark? Remember last year, she played in the Final Four. Right after that, she went immediately to the WNBA. Draft came, season started, and, didn't miss a beat. And all of a sudden, she got a little rest and comes back, gets a little banged up. I heard you talking about it earlier, and it's going to be fascinating to me, Ricky. I've been to Fever games, and the one thing you notice, and this is more so than even when Peyton Manning was the quarterback of the Colts.
There is a lot of cognitive dissonance. Like, yeah, we understand. The WNBA has its stars. It has always been. If Diana Taurasi were to elbow a brick wall, the wall would most likely apologize. However, Clark possesses a quality that goes beyond basketball: velocity of culture. Tiger performed the same thing that Serena did. It's that strange lightning in a Gatorade bottle that is impossible to replicate, coach, or teach. And no one's suggesting she's perfect. Clark makes turnovers, is blocked, stripped, and even has a tendency to make mistakes. Twitter erupts when she assumes leadership roles. When she gets hip-checked, it's a major debate on sports radio. 5 blogs inquire as to whether she is hurt when she scratches her nose. That's power. She earned it, not because she requested it. She sparked, not simply showed up. And rather than attempting to negate that energy with forced elbows and salty presses, the league would be stifling it if it were wise. Rather, some gamers are attempting to make her feel inferior as if it were a natural progression. This isn't a sorority, girl. It's a company. Additionally, Caitlyn's sales presentation is currently the strongest the league has had since its founding.
Describe Caitlyn Clark.
Amazing. A beast. She is the truth. She's the truth, and she was a rookie. Knock down the 3-pointer, get to the rim. She can get to the free throw line.
Pass
She's
the ball.
crafty.
Yeah, very crafty.
Crafty. So sometimes she's look like she's coming off for a 3-point shot and she backdoors you for a layup. She gets her teammates involved. She can pass. She can shoot. Man, she is the complete.
The true drama lies in the fact that even people outside of the WNBA community are beginning to notice the difference in her treatment. Is this how we handle the athlete that attracts millions of spectators to the sport? Apparently so. If you're still getting over the fact that you weren't selected for the Nike deal shortlist. The unfortunate thing is that this ought to be the simplest alley-oop in league history. Utilize the increased attention to highlight each player, increase jersey sales, secure larger TV deals, and advance the game. Rather,